Welcome to the Real Biz Solution Podcast, where we uncover what is really happening behind the scenes of the growing businesses that we speak with, the successes, the bottlenecks, and the practical solutions that move companies forward. Today, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Renan de Barros, the one and only Renan de Barros, with Sozo Marketing, and they specialize in helping businesses grow through AI-powered marketing and SEO strategies. Renan, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jason. How's it going?
It's always a pleasure. It's always a blessing to have you on. Before we get into Sozo Marketing, tell us a little bit about yourself so our audience knows who you are, where you're originally from, and what brought you where you are at today.
Well, I was originally born in Brazil to a family of entrepreneurs. They've owned restaurants, meat markets, like the Blockbusters, the VCR rental video library places, a little bit of everything. But what they've always done is run businesses all through my upbringing. And when I was 14 years old, we came to Florida, and we went from living in a beach city in Brazil to living in a beach city in Florida, which is awesome. We got to Sarasota and grew up here.
Yeah.
And I didn't have much of a direction in my teen years, but I found out that much like my parents, I was always diving into leadership in the business world and just developing businesses in an early stage, even when I was DJing and started my first record label.
Hold on, DJ. Let's talk about DJing. You were a DJ? Talk to me about that.
Well, it's not something I'm very proud of now because there were the party days. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But something that struck me looking back is that I was, instead of just being a DJ at a club and fighting for DJ spots, I started a record label. We did some things like press records and sell them, and created a collective. So I was leading this collective label of multiple agents, and then we started getting gigs from that. So it was just how do you use that entrepreneurial mindset to get more gigs, and we did, and it worked. And anyway, that was the beginning of a story of now many years. I know I may not look like it, I hope not, but of business ownership and doing different things from then on. So that's like a little bit of my upbringing.
Awesome. So what were you doing before you entered the marketing and SEO industry?
Well, I had a 10-year successful sales career. I was leading teams of sales agents by the 5th year, and then on up to 10 years, and managing a lot of people. I was always encouraged by leading people and helping them achieve their goals. And after that, I started doing some sales and some marketing consulting, but it was really in marketing that I started getting the love and the passion that I had in my upbringing for like brands and, visual things. And even in my DJing days, like creating the flyers and all of these things. So I dabbled along with a lot of these things, and I ended up just putting a lot of work into the web, because that's where I could generate leads for my business. I started an auto glass business after the sales career as well, and did some consulting. And that required me to figure it out. So I went to YouTube University, figured out how to build WordPress websites, and more than pretty websites, I wanted them to be effective. I wanted to be something that would generate revenue. So I, took that stance, which is what is going to generate the traffic and convert the traffic, even from the beginning there. And after doing that for a little while, I sold the auto glass company within a year and a half. Things didn't work out. I didn't like the industry too much, and started helping my family business. And my parents had a 3-employee cleaning company, which we rebranded and developed the assets online so that they could generate the traffic and bring in and convert the traffic and bring in more clients. And it started to grow at that point. Now it's a company that we have 20 so employees, and it's doing very well. 6 cars booked, three ladies per car, that caters to a very niche specific high-end market of homes in this county. And in Sarasota, Manatee County, there's lots of good gated communities for that. And so we found a niche, we expanded on it, we created the traffic and the conversion for it, and it started doing very well. And one thing led to another. Before you know it, I start Sozo Marketing as a brick and mortar and more of a physical location, staff, and all of that. And that's where we are now, 5 years into it with that brick and mortar type of.
So was there like a particular moment that you realized you wanted to build, this type of business in this space? Was there a moment that was just like a light bulb that hit you?
Yeah, it was a transitional phase, and I think you remember, you were there with me when this happened. We were doing things together, and people maybe watching, maybe familiar with Kingdom Gatekeepers, right? We spent a lot of time doing that. That was a part of my life where I was freelancing and still growing businesses, but not a lot of them. I didn't have a marketing agency yet or a company for that, but I was traveling, doing ministry and doing, speaking, preaching different places, Cuba, Mexico, throughout the country, and doing events in ministry. And at some point, I really believe the Lord grounded me and had me start something that would enable for the multiplication to happen of the help that I was giving to my parents and a couple of small freelance clients, really multiply the impact that we can have specifically for local business owners. And when I mean local, I don't mean just to our local region, but I just mean not franchises or not big corporate, but really helping the small business owners, mid-sized business owners, the heart of America, to maintain their businesses, to scale their businesses, to have impact in their businesses through the marketing services that we do at a larger scale. And that's when Sozo Marketing was born. It was also, that's the stance that I take when I do this. A lot of marketing agencies, they're, selling marketing services. And what I'm doing is selling scalability, selling revenue. I look at it from the standpoint of a proprietor, a business owner, and the challenges that I had to overcome. And I know that the technical difficulties that come with that job, that it's hard for a mom and pops or for even bigger small businesses to handle when they have 10, 20 employees, but they don't have the technical inclinations that I had when I started my business. So it's definitely an asset that I had in bridging the technical aspects that I can have from my staff, who are specialists in specific areas like copywriting and strategy, like SEO strategy or design and all of these things, and bridging that with the mind of a business owner who knows what it's like to be in their seat, and having that communication go through, simplify reports for them. So we're not just showing a bunch of vanity metrics, and really tying in everything to their revenue, because that they don't care about what kind of keywords you're ranking for them if it's not putting money in their pocket. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's interesting, because I just had that conversation the other day with somebody's like, they're coming up with all these crazy like words, and the guy's super smart. And I say, hey man, you got to stop. Like, people aren't going to understand this. People don't care how smart you are. They care about results. That's it. So I completely understand what you're saying. So Sozo, right? Why the name Sozo, and why did you choose it for your company?
So I'm not going to insult you by saying that you know what Sozo means, but
of course. But I want the viewers to know what
Real
that
Biz
means.
Solution here. The audience needs to know.
Yep.
And through the ministry that I did, one of the things that I taught a lot on was the term of salvation in the Word of God. The word sozo in the Greek, which is what the New Testament was written in, means salvation, to save, to heal, to rescue. But it's put in there in terms of those who believe shall be saved. And that word saved means a lot more than just going to heaven. It means God's full protection and healing and making whole and salvation and saving. So I believe that transitions into what I do, and my purpose with businesses is to bring the marketing so that they are a whole company, and that they are, in words keeping the company and growing the company with that, and being, a whole entity now that they have that part squared out.
Awesome. And so like,
And blessed.
what do you, yeah, exactly. I mean, I know about Sozo and yeah, it's just, that's awesome that, God gave you that name to name your company. It really sticks out. And so what do you enjoy most about what you're doing right now currently?
Well, I can tell you that as of recent, in the last 6, 7 months, you can look around. As a matter of fact, people are not really realizing the power of what they have right now. I think a lot of people have dismissed it. And what I'm talking about is AI in general. There's a lot of AI slop. There's a lot of misuse of AI, and a lot of people are just irritated with it, honestly, because they go to these chatbots and they go to these platforms that now they have to interact with bad AI, and they just don't care for it. Who wants to talk to a robot when the robot is inefficient, unintelligent, and can't really do things the right way? It's almost like an irritant rather than a solution. But that's because of the misuse of AI, and that's been adopted very wide and broad, and it's created this bad sentiment. But what that actually has resulted in is people not really realizing the power of what it is that they can do with artificial intelligence nowadays. It was only about 7 months ago that agentic workflows became a real thing, and I had already been spending a lot of time with AI, but having a lot of friction with it and not really having things work out the way that I wanted to, unless I spent a lot of time on it. It was not saving me a lot of time. It was just putting me in a place where I just waste a lot of time and end up in the same spot. But when agentic workflow became available, and I came in the early stages of that, it was just like a light bulb went out. It was like not just aha moments of what I could do with it, but it was really an internal transformational thing for me, for the realization of what it can do for businesses and business owners. For my business, primarily at first, but now I can see the impact that it can have on other people as well. We actually just even started a Sozo Academy, which helps business owners in not just understanding, but implementing this AI system that I implemented for our company into their own companies. But that's what I've been really excited about recently. I lose a lot of sleep over it, and just being able to build more efficient ways, not just to save me time, but it's been really accomplishing better results for our clients, man. This has been transformational in the amount of speed. We can use the same level of technicality and expertise and excellence to deploy things much faster for our clients and shorten the curve, shorten the length to reach that bell curve that we're looking to reach when we're doing SEO. So things that would take 6 months are now taking 2 to 3 months. The results are more precise, better, and we're able to reiterate quicker. With SEO, this, it takes 6 weeks just for you to get good data after you change something. Well, when it takes, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to actually create the work and then put it out, it's delaying things quite a bit to where that 6-week curve becomes like 2 months, 3 months. You can't make changes fast enough. And that's why companies say, oh, SEO, for it to work, you have to do 8 months, 10 to 12 months, and so on. Well, with the systems nowadays that we have, and a lot of people have failed to jump in the bandwagon like I did, but I did very deeply, and we're ahead of the curve now. We're getting better results for our clients. We have clients texting us to increase their budgets instead of us having to chase them to try to pitch. I always say that when somebody's chasing you, that's a good situation, right? Yeah, somebody who's already paying you a good amount of money is looking to double their budget, man. That's a great feeling, right?
It definitely is.
That's what keeps me excited nowadays, is the amount of improvements that we've made through this new technology that we fully implemented and are at the very edge of nowadays.
So when you're not working on your business, and I've seen some of your social media posts, so I kind of have an idea of your enjoyment. What do you do what do you enjoy outside of work?
Well, so that's another thing that I actually promote gladly and proudly so that other people would embark into this journey, which is, have your business operating and have it operating so efficiently that you can actually enjoy your life and spend time with your family. I've spent a lot of years sacrificing time with my family when building companies, and I didn't take advantage of it like I do now, which is once a month, my wife and I, at the very least, we take a staycation. And staycation for us just means we're not leaving Florida. We're going to go to South Florida. We're going to go to South Beach. We just came back from Delray Beach. Before that, we were in South Beach. I think the next one we're planning to go to New Orleans. Just a short flight, maybe 4 or 5 days.
New Orleans. I'm about to fly out there tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations! You're gonna have some good etouffee. I can
I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna eat some food up there for sure.
I'm going to ping something in the map for you that you got to try. It's because it's outside the beaten path a little bit, but it's still within a few blocks from French Quarter. You're going to love this place, mom and pops, but the food is freaking phenomenal. So anyway, don't get me started with food. We're not going to talk about business.
Exactly.
You know my posts. I love food. And so the ability to do it should be a requirement. We have date nights every week, my wife and I, but nothing like having 5 date nights in a row in a different spot, and just enjoying yourselves and relaxing. In about a couple weeks, about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to be going to Glacier National Park, taking my 18-year-old there before he goes into college, father and son trip, which is going to be awesome. The business should give you the liberty to do these things. And nowadays there's no excuse, because before, I understand if you're a solo runner and you don't have any help, you are the business. But in order to scale, you have to have a system in place. You have to have processes in place. You have to be able to train people to do things that, will fill in your shoes when you're not there. And most importantly, with the tools, like I said, having an AI system operating for your business, I'm able to walk away complete peace of mind, multiple businesses, and still the ability to do that because my clients are taken care of. Everything is super high efficient, and my team knows what to do, and they're all employed in using an AI system as well. And that doesn't mean we're getting AI slop. That means that we've developed a system to eliminate the AI slop and is human run. So you have the humans, they're still in the loop, they're still running the thing, but all of the heavy lifting is done by the LLMs, the large language models that are super highly intelligent and have access to all sorts of knowledge, are able to just speed up the process and automate a lot of things.
That's something that AI can really help us do, right? It frees up our time, because before we're having to do it manually, now, we're able to spend more time with our family, and that's a wonderful thing. And I'm so happy that you're able to do that. So let me ask you this. What is something people might be surprised to learn about you, Renan?
Well, I think the fact that I've done a lot of skydiving jumps, I guess.
I do. Yeah, I do remember all the skydive. That's awesome. I've always wanted to do that. That's all. Tell me a little bit about that.
People think that you have to go tandem for a lot of times before you actually jump. My second jump was not tandem. I tasted it. I liked it, and I wanted to do more of them. So, but I haven't skydived like most people have that are actually in the sport. I'm just done a few dozen jumps, probably upwards of 30s, and did a lot of jumps by myself. I stopped doing it for some time, but I don't know if I'll go back to it. I want to get my pilot's license eventually, start flying planes.
We got too much in common.
Yeah, maybe a little more safe.
Yeah. So who had the being in business, who had the greatest influence on your approach to business and leadership?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'd have to say first and foremost, my parents, particularly my mom. I spent a lot of time with her, and especially now in the later years, I've worked alongside my mother. She is, aging now, but she's still at 76 years old, still plowing and working hard, much less hard than she was maybe 6 months ago, because we've implemented some systems for her too, which allow her to go home at 11 o'clock in the morning. But she's running a big business, and so is my dad. They both have functions in it and enjoy it. Don't feel like doing anything else. They don't want to just retire and do nothing. The option has come up to sell the company and do other things with it. They don't want an exit strategy right now. They want this to be something that keeps their mind going, keep involved. And, I appreciate that part of it as much as all of the learning lessons that I've had from, being alongside with them. That's why I really enjoy food a lot, because they owned restaurants and I, spending time with them in the kitchen, just my hands in it, and learned a lot of things from different chefs that were partners with them and so on. So being the little guy, because I was the youngest of 3 siblings by a lot, I was the oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. I spent a lot of time being dragged along with them to these businesses and learn a lot from those challenges that they've had, especially in Brazil, and the experiences that they were able to, things that they were able to overcome. I was able to see it firsthand, and just that drive and do whatever it takes and just got to get to the next step. It was a lot more difficult then. And I think those taught me some really good lessons.
So what was that hardest lesson that you learned during that process that you believe was the hardest lesson you've learned?
So I've learned so in Brazil, one of the hardest things is permitting and dealing with the government, Mr. Commissioner, how to get things through and how to pass on inspections and things like that. And it's really about relationships more than anything. I don't care, where you are in the world. You're really going to move things ahead further if you have the right relationships. You treat people the right way. And I think I observed a lot of that, not just with overcoming things that they had to for business, but also in their ability to lead teams and how they treated their employees and the people on the staff. So I think, some of the best lessons that I've learned from them was through relationship with the right people. You're able to have an easier path to overcoming those obstacles. And a lot of it, like I said, in Brazil was, the government wants money for everything, a lot more than here, would you imagine? And there's a lot of corruption, a lot more corruption than here. And you've been in places like the Philippines, you know what I'm talking about. There's, it's a different mechanism in the third world countries. And and learning how to navigate that was very beneficial.
Was there ever like a moment where when you were trying to implement maybe systems and you questioned whether that business would work? Meaning, like, there was a moment that you came across, in that process and saying, is this going to work?
Yes. Well, every day.
Yeah.
When you're talking about systems, if you mean AI systems, or you mean just in general?
Just in general from your business experience, all the way up till now, like
100%. In both arenas in different ways, of course. But when you're talking about implementing sales processes, marketing, and these things, there's some things that are tried and tested. And when I came out of a sales career and I started consulting and I did some sales changes to some big companies, you wonder whether it's going to work, but it's been tried and tested. So the likelihood of it working is very low in your mind. You already been through it. So you know that the implementation of that thing is most likely going to work. But then there are things that, every business owner has to step into new arenas, right? You have to try out new things. And especially in marketing, there are a lot of changes all the time. There's a point we didn't have social media. Now we have social media. There's a point where, Google became a big thing, and then you have to adapt and be able to be found there. Now, there's TikTok. So you may be able to forecast some likelihood, some chance that you're going to succeed, but you know very well that nothing is guaranteed, right, Jay? So
Yeah.
you just gotta try these things out sometimes and allocate some budgets towards it, and yeah, with some hesitancy, you'll find out.
Yeah. So what is like when you find those times, what keeps you motivated during those difficult seasons of entrepreneurship?
Well, 100% is first and foremost my faith in God. Just having faith that I'm going to get through it no matter what, that he's with me. He's given me the strength, the ability, he gives me wisdom through his word. He's able to guide me and direct me. And especially in these latter years, like I'm entering the second half of my life. The thought of legacy and the fight that I need to have for my family, what I want to establish and build, how I want to leave my kids, their kids, how I want to impact their future, what memories do I want them to have of me. Those things all like resonate pretty loudly, and the future and latter years that my wife and I can have together, that Maria and I can actually enjoy the latter part of our life better than the first, even, so those are definitely things that put a fire in me and continuing to go even when times are tough.
Yeah. And that gets us to this point where it gives us a great picture of who you are and really how Sozo Marketing began. Let's shift a little bit. Let's talk about where the business is today and what you're seeing in the marketplace. Can you explain to me your role at Sozo Marketing and how it fits into the bigger vision for the company?
So my role is as the owner, strategist, and now, systems builder. I conduct things here in a way that has a scalable format, and also, I've also have an acting role in the cleaning company that we own. So, there are a couple of things to fill there. There's now the new arena I told you about, Sozo Academy, which now handles teaching business owners on how to implement AI systems into their business. So there are a lot of moving pieces, and the biggest, most of my time is spent orchestrating things, whether it is orchestrating a team to perform at their highest level, whether it is orchestrating our bank accounts and, financials and receivables, and making sure that everything is calculated in a way that's sustainable and continue to grow, and making marketing decisions for ourselves. How do we continue to grow and improve and get more business in all of these different areas? But really, at the forefront of all of that is, how do we create the most value and the highest returns for our clients? Because if you're not doing that part right, then there are companies and agencies that can be making really good money, but they're really sales models that operate well within contracts. So they have great salespeople, they have great sales models, they just get a lot of clients in. They know that they're tied in for 6 months and then they're going to be gone, because if you're not doing a good job, and a lot of them are not, they can continue to just fill up that pipeline with having a good sales model. I work in reverse of that. I work in focusing on the highest levels of deliverables and results and revenues that we can get for our clients. And if we're doing that, then there is no churn. We have clients who have been with us for years. We have especially now clients that have committed to us past contracts that upping their budgets and continue to grow with us because they see the results. Why would they want to leave somebody that actually does that? So I focus more on how to get the results for the clients. And now more so I'm spending time because I have systems built and things like that, that I can actually put a lot more effort into sales also. But whatever we're selling, we can back up with, the service that we provide too.
Yeah, for sure. So for someone who may not be familiar with the company, what does Sozo Marketing solve? What problem does it solve?
Sozo Marketing has created a conversion engine for service-based businesses, primarily home service business companies, anywhere from 3 million to and up, 15 million, 20 million and up. And these, what we've done is we created a way to speed up the process into creating more visitors to the platform, to our clients' websites, and turning those visitors into conversions and revenue to products and services, mostly services, that are the most profitable for the client. So if we're working with a plumber, we're not going to be going after every plumber keyword, which is what most agencies will do. But as a marketing company with this conversion engine, we are going to focus on specifically the most profitable services that they provide. We're going to go after those keywords and the authority, originality, authenticity, build all of that up for our clients so that they really own the market space in that specific niche, those services that give them the most profit. And for that, we created what's called the conversion science architecture system. And that's what we run all of our clients through. It starts with the architecture, which is building the foundation for the business and the brand, and then scientifically creating strategy behind it that is very tailored to that specific client. And at the end of the day, if we're not getting conversions, then what are we doing here? We don't have a job. So,
yeah. And so you kind of explained to me like your ideal, like your ideal client is essentially that sweet spot, that, that 10 million, that 5 million and above client. What is usually happening in their business when they first contact you?
First thing that comes to mind is a bad experience in marketing in general. They're burnt out. They've spent a lot of money and have got little to no results. And you can run a diagnostics on their entire web presence, their brand and everything else, and you can figure out why. Then people that are claiming to do things that they don't deliver on, and it just leaves them with a bad taste in their mouth. So that's typically the biggest issue that they have is they're running the company well at that point. I mean, if you're a $5 million company, you have a good amount of employees at that point. You have an administrator, you have things that are operating well and, sometimes ready to scale or at least ready to maintain against the competition that's trying to get their market share. But we see that they still don't have the marketing piece set because good marketing companies are few and far between. And unfortunately, but that's the stigma that we break through a relationship with them.
So what does a typical day look like for you, particularly when it comes to acquiring clients and delivering your AI and SEO solutions?
Well, thankfully, because of our reputation, we get a lot of word of mouth, a lot of referral business, but also because of our SEO. And if you went and did an audit on us, we're domain ranking is higher than any other agency's domain ranking in our vicinity. So we have a great amount of calls that come in from our Google business profile for a website as well, and lead intake. So, I start my day, we can field some of those conversations and start the process through a strategy session, have a sit down, find out what's going on with their business. We have a forensic audit, which is a very detailed diagnostic of the entire prospect's website and web presence, and we can figure out a lot of things and find out where things are broken and where there's a lot of opportunities. Anything that we show in the forensic audit are things that we can and do fix. So that gets a conversation started to actually go a little bit deeper, and maybe having that strategy session, digging in for about an hour and finding out what from their perspective like is working and what's not working. You know, how happy are they with their processes even internally, because a lot of what we touch, Jason, actually impacts their lead flow, their customer service, the communication with their customers and clients. We're able to solve problems within the company for our clients that goes beyond just marketing. How to smooth things out for them so that they have a smooth operation that they can scale with. So yeah, that's typically, you know, when you talk about my day is spent having a lot of conversations, you know, and of course now we have a lot of courses that we do teach as well. So there's a lot of calls like these with multiple people in groups. And there's a lot of building. So I am a systems guy. I really love building things and improving processes. So I take that system and processes passion that I have and just dive right into the strategies that I need to implement for my clients, and how can I make things smoother for my company as well.
And like, there's been a lot of changes. What are you seeing in the AI marketing and SEO industries right now that is changing and shifting?
I'm seeing a lot of shiny objects, a lot of
for sure
shiny tools, and not a lot of delivery.
Correct.
Mainly, if you're in the forefront of this whole thing, like I know you are as well, Jason, and I am, you're already gone past what you see, but most of the solutions and the ads that you get on social media are just distractions. They solve half a problem and very poorly, and they call it AI. And I see broken system. Fragmentation is the word. I see fragmented pieces that people are trying to sell one by one because they found an opportunity to build a product really fast, ship it, advertise it, and people buy it. And unfortunately, that's, again, putting the bad stigma into the AI community, because you need an entire cohesive, defragmentalized system running for your company that handles your AI. You need something that knows in depth what it is that you do on a daily basis. Everything that I'm doing with clients right now, it's already in my system. And anytime I pick up my work for tomorrow, it's going to know exactly what I did today and the days before. And it has context. It knows my company. It knows where we're going. It knows our quarterly plans. It knows our growth path. It knows what products we sell, the prices and everything. I mean, there's no limit to the knowledge that it can have and use in a split of a second for making any decisions to help you, including creating processes that are going to ease up the workflow and make it so that, you know, your staff is even more utilized and has better use of their time in a smaller amount of time, be able to accomplish more. I mean, what business wouldn't want that, right?
Correct.
But none of that is really being sold. What you're getting are tools and shiny things popping all the time and distractions. And it's unfortunate, but we're here to change it.
That's right. And so like how businesses are using AI differently today compared to about a year or two ago? Like, what are you seeing? Like, you know, 2 years ago, how are we using AI compared to how businesses are using AI today?
Well, what's common right now in businesses doing AI that's a little bit different is using specific tools, fragmented tools, unfortunately, but they're using them to make their process a little bit better. Maybe it is creating social media posts, and, you know, now they found a tool and generates video, or it has content that they can copy and paste and post and do things like that. That all makes things easier. AI is also very, I mean, you know this, everybody knows there's video tools, there's editing tools, there's such a wide variety of different things. And that's what I mean by people getting distracted with things. But there's some very good use for it that people have been taking on. And I see, like handling their emails, or at least having it connected to their Microsoft and being able to, meetings like this can be transcribed very easily. The problem is, what happens to that transcript at the end? What happens to those summaries? Okay, well, you can send it to somebody via email. It's not that useful. But if I take a transcript like this and I load it up into my system that knows my entire business, it will spread this information throughout its different segments of my business and update things, create more content for me better, using all the other context of things that I may have not even said through this conversation. So there's a lot more that can be done than people are doing. But, there's a little more usefulness, I think, today than there was 2 years ago when ChatGPT came out and all you could do is chat with a pretty stupid bot at the time compared to what we have now.
Yeah. Chat bots, right? Those it's so funny. I've been studying chat bots and the way to implement chat bots on a massive scale. And what I'm seeing right now, especially in like a lot of these is like completely wrong.
Well, you can tell by talking.
And you're exactly right. Like the guy, exactly. And so like, you're exactly right. Like to implement a chat bot, it takes a lot of work because you're supposed to implement all those questions. It could be 900 questions in that, and then have the answer and then make those adjustments based on that. So it's interesting. So where do you believe businesses are what are they misunderstanding about AI and SEO right now?
Well, so just to use your example, I think they're getting it backwards. I think that what they're doing is they're trying to fix some symptoms and not dealing with the issue, with the AI implementation issue. And this is a problem that's not just, some businesses. This is coming from the top. Big enterprises have spent a lot of money in this AI hype. And then when they look at their production report and whether it's been efficient or not, there is nothing to show for it. So they're actually just dumping money into AI, and their staff is using AI. Big enterprises. Think about like an IBM or some of these guys using AI on a daily basis, and there is nothing to show for it at the end of the quarter when they're looking at their financials. Why? Because they're just putting the AI in front of their staff, and they're using these tools without it having a proper setup. When you talk about the chatbot, the reason that is so poorly implemented is because you're just feeding as much information as you can to it without all of the other content. You didn't build a system for the business yet. Now they're starting to figure it out. They're having now the LLMs, the frontier models, which are the Geminis and Claudes and, ChatGPTs. And these guys they're purchasing consulting firms to now go into the big enterprises and help them to implement it, because they know they're going to lose all their clients if they don't.
Yeah.
And these consulting firms, imagine the complexity of implementing something like that. You have to feed it all the data from all these different departments. You have to automate the consistent inflow of all of this data, compartmentalize departments so that they don't speak to the wrong departments, and which departments can talk to the others. And once you do all of that, then you build a chatbot. It'll be very useful. But if it took me 6 months for it to build for my small businesses, imagine how long it takes for a big enterprise. So it's unfortunately, we have shortened the curve now for building it for other businesses, because I've tested and tried these things. I already fought the bots so that you don't have to. So I can actually shorten the curve and place these things into companies in a much shorter time. But it's hard work, and it requires some understanding from the staff, some training, and in order to hold something with this much power, you need to go through a little bit of a learning curve, but it's well worth it at the end for sure.
And it's funny because MIT came out with a report last summer, I believe, that 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing on a mass, and we're talking billions of dollars. Billions.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. I mean, it's not, and we're seeing that across the board, especially with implementation. Like, people are talking about it, but they don't know how to implement it. Right. And it's interesting in the time that we're in. What trends do you think a business owner should be preparing for over the next 12 to 24 months regarding, these systems, or just in general?
Well, I can tell you right now, we're at the race to the middle. I'm on a race to the middle, and I'll explain this to you. This process of large language models going into enterprises and fixing their issues, it's not going to end there. Because once they get that figured out, which they will, because it is a powerful tool. I'm telling you, it is a time reducer of like activities, productivity enhancer. It is all of that if implemented right. So when they do implement this right, they're not going to stop at the largest enterprises. They're going to come down that funnel and start working with the smaller, big businesses, the franchises, and so on. And I think that specifically the small business owners needs to be prepared, because they're going to come for you with the higher profit margins, with the ability to operate more efficiently, to try to take on. It's not like it's not already happening, right? Yeah. The franchises, of the plumbing franchises and the restaurant franchises and all these, they have come for the small businesses, and they will continue to do that. But there's got to be a good middle ground, as we've always found, right? We have to fight for it every time, but I'm on this side of the fight. My mission is to help every small to mid-sized business to implement these things into their businesses, so they can compete down the road in the 2 years that you talked about. That they're prepared, they're efficient, they're profitable, they're scalable, and they have the tools to pair up with the type of customer service levels and deliverables that these other companies will have once they have the power to do it. So that's something to be aware of and be prepared and get ahead of the ball game.
So what's particularly working really well for you?
What's working really well for me right now is the speed in which I can get high level knowledge work done without having to spend the fees. Because if you take our strategy process, for instance, there's a lot of analysis. There's a lot of analytics to do. There's a lot of brainstorming to do. There's a lot of things to consider. And I can, with the assistance of AI, be able to create an agentic workflow, which is just a sequence of different agents doing one task, but that we can get very a quality amount of data in high fidelity, confirm that data is true, and then synthesize that data in order to come up with plans. So that is what we're able to do for our clients now. That would take maybe a month or two and 5 different people. Now with a very intelligent model and an agentic workflow, I can synthesize that data really well. I can extrapolate exactly what the plan is for achieving the results that we want for our clients. And at the end of the day, Jason, AI doesn't work without us. It does not. They say it will. I don't think it will. AI is a terrible visionary. It doesn't have human taste. It doesn't adapt to our way of thinking of things that we may like or not like. It has great knowledge of data that we put out there, but it's still missing the vision and the starter. And it's also missing the finisher. It's a terrible finisher of things. It can come up with great assumptions or great projections and everything else. And you get somebody who's had experience in the industry, whatever industry it is, using that plan is going to look at it and say, I like the data, but it doesn't have intuition. It doesn't know what we may like or not like in the future. So it requires intelligence, and it requires, some competence. It will always require that. It requires a lot of competence, because you can get some confidently wrong answers from AI, and you can go in the wrong direction for a very long time if you're not competent yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
But the stuff in the middle, the stuff that's really hard to get done, that takes hours, and the T's and the I's and all this stuff, AI is very good at doing it with an agentic workflow. If you just send it to your regular general agent and he just passes it once, he's going to miss a lot of stuff. But if you build a nice, good workflow where you have checkpoints and quality assurance methods in there, then you can test it at the end. Every time it's going to come out good. It's like good again. It's like good again. Eventually you're like, okay, it's good. I don't have to keep building this thing. It's already doing its work. And then you pick it up from there. So it eliminates a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. So what's been the most effective in attracting new clients that you're currently seeing? Like what's the most effective thing that is attracting new clients?
I go back to results. So because we're able to get better results for our clients due to the system, our clients speak for us, right? They're just them being able, like, what's better than a case study to prove to somebody that you can do for them what you've done for somebody else? So
yeah, for sure.
What's working the best for us is case studies. You know, we have great case studies coming out of the work that we're doing for them because of the work. And that just generates more referrals. It generates more business, and it generates easier closes too when you're talking to a prospect because you can prove it.
Yeah. So on the other side of that, let's shift. What has been frustrating and more difficult than expected on the other side of that?
I think the most difficult thing for me right now has been managing my time, because once you start building with it, you have to put a stop to it at some point. Like when you're excited about something like I am right now, you can go without a lot of sleep.
Trust me, bro. I just took a nap, just so you know. I just took a nap because yeah, I get it.
So yeah, and sometimes I have to grab like the daytime naps, you know, just to catch up. You know, some days I'm more tired than others, and so I had to put I came to a point where things were good, like with a company, but then there's always areas to grow, so you can build more. And then you have ideas, and you're like, okay, well, if it's this easy to implement them, then I'm going to get. So you just start stacking up more and more things to a point where I put a stop time for my work at 6 o'clock at night. I knew that I could have peace, that my business was running really smooth because of all the stuff that I already built for it, but I had to stop building at some point. Still go through seasons. You know, this week we're having an academy master class, so we're every night have students and everything else, and that's going to push me a little bit over that boundary for a little bit. But next week I know I can enjoy it, and wife and I will go on a trip soon, you know, go to national parks. So there's always a balance that you can generate in these different little seasons. But yeah, just having the self-control to not go overboard with it, no matter how excited I am.
And so what are the most common challenges your clients are experiencing before they begin working with you?
So before they come in, the biggest thing is usually their marketing is not working. Like they're not satisfied with communication, deliverables. So to be specific, it's a typical report that they get that shows that they're ranking for all of these words, but they're not seeing anything from it. I actually coined a term for it. I call it vanity metrics. It's just a vein. It just shows them, hey, you're on the top of the charts for these things, but a lot of times these vanity metrics where they're showing the client, which makes them pretty mad about it, is that they're actually getting ranked for things that they don't want to even deal with. So they're getting inefficiencies of phone calls, of tire kickers, and people asking them to match prices and all these other things, when, you know, it really just like takes up their staff's time and doesn't generate any revenue. So it's, I think changing them from being able to see, instead of vanity metrics, more of a task list of things that we did that mattered, and explaining to them why it mattered. giving them a forecast of what we're about to do next month and the list of things that we're about to do and why they matter, and then showing them a direct connection to those visitors and the views that they're getting, to the actual conversions that they're getting, to actually the revenue that they're getting, right? So if they're getting 5-6 clients a week, $50,000 each, and that's changed from like 3 months ago, they couldn't care less about the reports. They're happy. So at the end of the day, that's a frustration. It's the spending so much money and I don't feel like I'm getting anything.
So which metrics are you most focused on improving for your clients when you're looking at a client? Which revenue,
profitable revenue. So first we determined which ones, which services are the most profitable, and then we zoom in on those, and then we measure how many of those are we getting for them per week.
So could you walk me through kind of how you are currently, how you're generating new business? I know we spoke about word of mouth. Is there any other things that you're doing right now to generate more business, new business?
Yeah. So right now we spent the last year just pivoting our entire model, which then was more of an establishing our revenue model system, going from, building a separate website, then, and then having some SEO done, and then having some packages that were standalone, like social media or Google Business Profile, all these things like broken up. And I'm all about defragmentalization right now. So I put everything into one system, and it's the conversion science architecture system. And it's a monthly retainer that if we need to redo your website, it's within that retainer. If we need to handle your Google social media or your Google Business Profile posts or your social media posts, it's all within one retainer. And that includes automations and email sequences and things like that. Just put it all within one plan, so that our revenue model changed from selling different things to just a steady stream of monthly revenue for clients that we just take care of everything that they need, right?
Yeah.
So we're now positioning ourselves to scale. And in that, we've developed a couple of different tools and skills and things within our system now to identify dormant prospects, people that we may have, touched base with, but they never closed. We are now sharpening up those systems. Outreach campaigns that are emails, like outbound things like phone calls, emails, postcards, and things like that. And we're about to deploy that, still about a month away, but that's where we're going, living mostly from right now phone calls and, people that find us on Google Business Profile, find our website, or come from a client or a referral or a friend like you. You got somebody?
Always. We're working together on some things, so good stuff's happening.
For sure.
So when it comes to your sales and your client acquisition process, how is that? Who's responsible for that? Is that just all of you, or how do you set that whole system up?
So now I've just onboarded somebody to do the sales calls and onboarding, a little bit of the onboarding. I'm still going to be operating as a strategist. I feel like I do have the extra time now. I can hop on and speak strategy with my clients, and I'm not, losing sleep over it. And I feel responsible for their growth. I like that part, so I'll keep that. But as far as sales, one thing that your audience would probably like is the fact that by having this whole AI system, how easy it was for me to generate, Jason, an entire SOP and an HTML document with all of the teachings of training for my sales guy, right? So all I had to do was, it already had all of the transcripts from all my sales conversations, because a lot of them are recorded. If they're not, they're all recorded, by the way. If they're not recorded, a lot of them are through Google Meet or Zoom. A lot of them are just, connect to the phone and plug in a microphone, so I get clear audio. I put a mic on them, put a mic on me, and I say, let's go at it. Let's have this strategy session. Let's have this sales conversation. So all of that was already in there. All I had to do was tell it to create training manuals and an SOP, document for my new sales guy, and it did that within, I don't know, 30 minutes while I was doing something else. Just sharpened it up, and it knew all of my talking points, it knew all my analogies, it knew, I've trained it to do that. And then the other thing that I did for that new salesperson now is, how do I feed him with a good pipeline of people that he can start calling right away, while I develop something that now goes through all of my email, all of my inboxes, and sees the people that I've sent contracts to. It goes to Stripe. It checks against them. It already knows which clients we have and which we don't, but it checks to see if there's any pending invoice that was not, maybe it was paid and they're already a client, so not to bother them, but it just verifies things in different places and creates for us a list of these dormant prospects that we can reactivate. And it's called reignite prospects, by the way, the skill. And a good reason to call them, and like why they should be interested. Oh, not only that, it goes through the internet and it figures out whether they did onboard with somebody else or not by scanning their website, scanning their media, and figuring out whether they did get into a relationship with somebody and maybe that they're not happy with, but we have the knowledge ahead of time. So when my sales guy calls them, he has all this information ahead of time too.
Yeah. So is your growth primarily coming from the referrals, outbound outreach,
right now it is
advertising, partnerships, content, or another, like any other type of social media source? Where is it currently coming from right now?
Currently, it's referrals, word of mouth, and
that's the best form. That's the best way.
Google, people search us on Google, and we're well found in there too. And I can't forget, people call me all the time and saying, I heard about you. And I say, how'd you hear about us? They say, I was on ChatGPT.
Oh, wow. ChatGPT's that's the new thing right now, man. That's the new thing.
That a lot too now, because we have engineered the way in how to show up for ChatGPT and Gemini and Perplexity and all those guys too.
That's wonderful. So in that, how predictable is that process from month to month, knowing, hey, I'm going to get 10 sales next month, I'm going to get 5 sales next month? Is there any predictability behind the systems that your guys are running right now?
100% predictability.
That's all.
As of Q1 of this year. And because working with the system and having the right forecasts and determining what our pricing structure will be and what the sales model will be and making all those changes, we've hit Q1 on the dot. We hit Q2 on the dot, and we're continuing to just it's exciting. It's the first time I have this much assurance in my growth.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. That's awesome. So where would you like to see Sozo Marketing be in about 6 months from now?
Well, I think we're evolving. So the idea is to climb up. We have been doing a good job. We did a good job when we spent years working with business starters and small businesses, 1 guy, 3 guys running the show. We've moved up now to our new target audience, and the goal is to be the very best and provide just the most excellent results for our clients, that our reputation precedes us, and we continue to climb up to the not in volume. I'm really not sure that I want to be a sales organization like a lot of other agencies are, where they're just churning them. I want to be the most excellent one. I was telling my team this Monday morning meeting, all we need is, if we're doing things with excellence, all we need is 2 clients, 3 clients. Yeah. That's what I really want to be known for, is being able, being so good that we secure a few clients and we do them very well, and they just can't live without us. And why would they go work with anybody else? And they compensate us well for it as well. And that would be a good destiny for Sozo Marketing.
Yeah, I know when it comes to excellence, I could be a testimony to that. You do everything with excellence, and
Thank you, man.
It shows through your work. So what would meaningful growth to you look like in your opinion 12 months from now?
Well, I think we're at the cusp of deploying some things. So our trajectory right now is to nearly double within a year. And having done what we've done so far, I think it'll be doable. And we're very scalable right now because my entire team of 8 people have deployed the entire AI system. I've made sure that I installed it into all wherever they are, they're using it and they're being the most efficient. 2 things happen. One of them, they notice right away, their quality of life has improved. They're happier because they're not dealing with stuff that they don't have to deal with anymore. That was just painful. Yeah. Technical stuff is painful. I don't care if you're a developer, a coder, or a writer. It's painful to deal with the technical stuff. So when you have help doing that, your life improves. And I have 8 people whose lives have improved that, they're very happy about that. What they're not happy with is the fact that their hours went down. So it went down, but I kept it from going down too much by implementing other things for them to do and getting them more part of being an orchestrator of other things that may not be in their lane. So we're shifting things around. We're having to adapt a little bit, and they understand that the quality of life has improved. They're just trying to now adapt a little bit, but they're ready for more, Jason. I can double my business right now with the same staff. I don't have to hire one new person. And I can double the output in the same level of excellence that we have right now. So that's where I see it going.
So are you primarily focused on the number of clients, or moving toward bigger clients, or expanding your services, or improving operational capacity?
I think we're that was the first thing that I did is improving operational capacity. So I wanted to be ready before doing anything else. So I am at the very top of the operational capacity improvements line. We're very, very efficient and very, very accurate and good. The next level is increasing, and we've already increased our rates, and because of the results that we get. So the value is in what we get as results. If you're going to spend $8,000 a month, $12,000 a month on a plan with us, but it's turning in more like $150,000 to $250,000 a month in revenue, that's scalable for you, right? So the value is in the work that we do. We've already crossed that road too. Now it's just about targeting the market that we know we're after, and we have established a baseline with all the clients that we have. They are in our target market. That's great. There's some that we're still helping, legacy clients, we call them. They're still a smaller business, and we still help them as well. And I think we'll continue to do that, but we're not going to be going after them by the droves. Like I'm not going after the small guy, like $1 million company, $2 million company by the droves. That's not what I'm going to target and try to increase volume in, but we won't reject some of them who we know are great businesses that can scale. We'll work with them as well because they become big businesses too, if they can scale.
For sure. So how do you see your AI offerings becoming more sophisticated as the company grows?
Well, I just took the leap about 2 weeks ago. And thanks to you, Jason, I'm going to blame it all on you. You asked me to speak at Gatekeepers, and the Lord had me share about stewardship and told me that I needed to steward this whole AI thing. And Sozo Academy was born just recently. So that's part of me stewarding these skill sets, these talents that God has given me that has so improved my life and the lives of the people around me in my business into the marketplace, other business owners and people that want to go in this journey with us to operate more efficiently and better. So that's my pact with, AI is just sharing what I know, as helping speed up the process for people to do what you do. Jason, you know what you had to go through, man, just to get to the point where you're at with AI. The nights you spent awake, the things don't work, and you're clinging and you're hitting the keyboard. You're fighting the bots, bro. I know you are. It's not easy going through that, especially on your own. But when you got to figure something out, you do it. You're going to listen to everything you can, and you're going to go down the wrong road until you find the right road. Well, I'm the conduit now to the easiest way of getting there, with these businesses.
So like you have specific goals within your company, right? What do you believe needs to happen for you to reach those goals? Like serious, like, you've got high expectations you're trying to reach. What do you have to do personally to reach those goals in your business, right?
Well, there's the stuff that I learned from my parents, get it done attitude, resolve, I guess is a good word. It's you're gonna see this thing to the end, no matter what. And you have to have a level of excitement for what you're doing. I remember walking up to my door at the office days before all of this, this new implementation of systems and things like that, and not really enjoying pulling my keys out of my pocket and putting in the door about to open the office in the morning, not feeling great about it. Like the fires that I had to put out, the things that I had to deal with that I knew were just crud in the way and tedious and mundane and repetitive. And I wasn't excited about it. So I was thankful that when this came into play, that I had a burst of excitement like no other, because I saw at the end of the day, at the end of the process, that what I could do by implementing something is those problems would go away. The stuff that I had to deal with before that was dragging me down, good, I'm going to wake up this morning and I'm going to fix that with a system, and like, I won't have that problem anymore. So I was excited every day, and I'm still excited. I lose sleep all the time over this stuff. What's that next problem of something that I'm not enjoying doing that I can automate or take that friction out, or train somebody to use a system much easier than, would have happened a year ago without it. So yeah, a level of excitement, man. Being excited about what you're doing, getting up every morning, like just fresh, no matter if you got 3 or 8 hours of sleep, you're just fresh, like, because your mind is going and you just want to get to the next thing, and you're excited about happy clients. You're not going to get a phone call of somebody canceling or, just upset about something like, hey, I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. That's not possible anymore, and even if I delay like 3 days with the client before, right? Like 3 days is a long time. But not if you get an inbox full of emails and all the stuff he's trying to sort through. 3 days is like, man, I'm trying to keep up over here. That is impossible anymore, because the systems will catch these things and emails go out, and we get stuff done in a much shorter amount of time because of it. So yeah, it makes me a lot more excited about it every day. I love it.
And so what do you believe could prevent your company from reaching the goals that you're trying to achieve?
There's ego, pride, a drug addiction, that would be like a flaw in character. Let's put it that way.
I love it. I love it. So if you had a magic wand and could immediately fix one issue that you see maybe slowing you down in your business or preventing you from reaching that goal, what would you fix?
The famous magic wand question.
Hey, it's all real. Everybody's dealing with an issue, man, in their business, right? Like how do we, right, look at that and say, what's one thing that I could fix?
So why is it so hard for me to answer this right now? My my head, like, you know me, my head operates things in like systems and operations. So if there's that one thing that I haven't Jason, you're just going to get something started here, because I'm going to like, something's going to come to mind, and then I'm going to freaking be up all night trying to fix it. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is already in the lineup. There's like nothing. I understand progression. I understand growth more like so now in ways that I didn't before, that these are things we can control. So as long as I'm moving in the right direction, if I was to fix up something magically, what's really bothering me right now?
Like,
but then my mind goes, what's really bothering me right now that I haven't fixed or haven't?
Could it be, let me help you a little bit. Could it be maybe, every business needs more leads. Maybe some businesses need an internal something or whatever it might be, right? To increase revenues, right? If I had a magic wand, what do I want? I want more sales. For me, I would want more sales, right? So that's kind of like,
yeah, I think if I had a magic wand, then 5 new clients without having to go through a long, with a shortened onboarding process.
Shorter onboarding process. Okay. Yeah.
So
because your onboarding process is probably, you're saying, is your deepest challenge right now. The time it takes.
Let me share with you in detail what the challenge is.
Okay.
So the challenge is this. In order to do what we do with the conversion science architecture, we need to build a really solid, good foundation. In order to do that, we have to really extract from the client, from that business, everything that it is. And most businesses don't have that yet. They don't have that. They have a mission statement and a value statement. Okay. But that's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for who are their top clients, who are the most profitable clients. A lot of my clients don't have that information. They don't even know themselves. They're successful. They're operating. They got $15 million of business coming in a year, and they're still struggling with figuring out what's the most profitable service that they sell, because they make intuitive changes inside the business, or maybe some indicators are popping up and they go, yeah, let's start selling that instead, or let's add the service over here instead. But they don't track it with scientific precision. So it's kind of like out in the open. Also, they don't know who their target audience really is. They know kind of neighborhoods that they like to work on, but they just want to serve everybody. And I'm really trying to figure out, how can I bring in more profitability and put them in front of the people that are most likely to buy them? So I need to figure that out. So if I send them a questionnaire, that would be the most automated way to do it, is give them a spreadsheet and have them fill it out. Jason, how many people running a multi-million-dollar business with their heads, like chicken without heads, and the employees and all the other stuff, they're going to sit down and fill out a spreadsheet for like 2 hours, try to figure this out? They're going to give me lame answers. They're going to leave stuff blank. And, I'm not going to be able to do what I do. So the process is tie them down, lock up their phones.
So what do you believe that challenge currently has cost you in terms of like time within that challenge?
Yeah,
let's just say, for example, you get a $50 million business and you got a $20 million business. Well, the $20 million business is taking you maybe, I don't know, let's just throw a number out there, 2 weeks to onboard them, compared to the reasons why maybe the $50 million business only took you a week. Why did the $50 million business only take you a week and the $20 million take you 2 weeks, right? What was it?
They did the work ahead of time. They came to me with their strategic. We coined something here. It's called the strategic brand profile. My business has it. My personal has it. All my businesses have it. My clients all have one. We call it the SBP, and we just fill it up with as much data about the client's strategic. It's their brand and everything else, and it's their company profile, their address, their service areas, and everything else. But it goes in very, very deep depth about the company. If they have one of those, Jason, I can onboard them. Like, I don't even need to go through that conversation, right? I don't have to tie them down, lock up their phones, and tell them, you're going to sit here for 2 hours with me, and I'm going to drill you on all this stuff until we're blue in the face. But that's what I do, and that's what's required in order to come up with a good good result. So you say what it's cost me, what I've been able to do is minimize the amount of time by pre-filling all of the answers and just verifying it with them. And the way that I pre-fill all the answers is my agents scour the entire internet, every single piece of content that they ever wrote, every single post they ever put on social media, all of their reviews. We have a report that's called the Review Intelligence Report that doesn't just give them the reviews to them. It actually gathers all of the reviews data and then creates a report that shows what people are saying about them, what the things that they're saying the most, what they're saying the least, what they say about the competitors against them. Like, all this stuff is done. So now, with gathering all of that data ahead of time, when I sit down with them, it's a lot easier to fill that out. They can just confirm things, and then I can drill them on the parts that I don't have after that research is done. So I actually did an onboarding this morning that took a lot less time than I thought.
Yeah. So like, exactly. I said that was my next question, was like, what happened when you tried to implement those systems, and when you tried it, the results, like, did it cut down? How much time did it cut down? I mean, obviously
50% at least.
Okay. All right. What would you change in your business in the future, to continue to help you solve problems? Like, what are you doing to help you continually solve problems that are coming as you grow? Because obviously there's going to be some things that you're going to face. What do you have now in place to help you solve those problems?
In my industry, you just have to be informed. You have to stay informed. You have to stay on the edge of information. You have to be, I am knowledgeable whether Google changed a rule yesterday on how they're ranking pages or not, and whether a large language model released a new feature or increased the spend on the new model, or like, you have to stay on top of things. If there's a new type of technology out, if there's a new way of, adding a tool to operations that would make it more efficient. So just stay knowledgeable. You have to stay on top of everything.
It's interesting you say that. Can you give me like an example of what you do in order to stay on top? Do you have like a certain process that you do?
Okay. Podcasts. You're just very selective to the stuff that I listen to, because there's a lot of shiny objects out there. But podcasts is one of them. A subscription to like a thought leader in the industry, and making sure that you're connecting to what their writings are. Not just, don't subscribe to things that are just salesy, like, and nothing in the middle of the road. Just look for the very top people in different industries and figure out what they're doing and stay on top of it. So yeah, just listening to a lot of things. Also staying in tune with what's popping up in front of you, because if you're in an industry, things are going to come at you. Don't ignore it. Don't just push it aside and say, oh yeah, I've heard about that. Dig into it, right? Do some research, be aware, and wise as serpents.
So what is one piece of advice you'd like to give any business owner who wants to begin using AI but doesn't know where to start?
Ditch the browser. The browser limits you to an individual chat with a general agent. I mean, they've implemented some steps now that you can actually do. Just ditch the browser. Install it in your computer. There are a couple ways of doing that. We teach it all in our AI orchestration masterclass. Actually, our AI orchestration workshop is a free workshop. If anybody is interested, I can send the link to it. It's a 2-hour workshop on the initial stages on how to set it up in your computer. So there's a lot of really good information there, but just get with it. Jump on the bandwagon. It's leaving. And the ones of us that figured it out can get a lot more power out of our systems with AI than the people that are still chatting with the browsers.
And I know we kind of talked about this earlier in the podcast in the beginning, but I really want to go back to this because the viewers or, the listeners are listening to this. So what is one marketing or CEO mistake you see business making repeatedly today? And you're seeing it all the time. So you believe.
And are we talking about AI now?
No, we're talking about just in general, marketing and SEO. Like you deal a lot with SEO, right? That's your expertise, What do you see business making mistakes in repeatedly when it comes to that?
The bonehead moves are thinking that nobody can do it as good as you can. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest problem that I see with that's the biggest irritant to me for working with clients, because that keeps them from growth and scaling. So it really, and I've done this myself, and that's why it irritates me, right? When you get a problem that you're dealing with, it rubs you off the wrong way even more. But just getting out of the way and just being able to use the tools that we have nowadays to put systems into place, like the SOP that I did for the sales guy, let go of stuff and trust that you can hire the right person, you can train the right person, you can delegate the work that you don't think you can delegate, especially today. You just need to build processes to be able to teach it right, based on what any decision you ever make for your company you do it in a systematic way, whether you like to believe it or not. You're running through systems in your head and you think they're just proprietary to you, and they're not that special. If you were to analyze what kind of method of decision making you make for making any decision for your business, you can actually document it and you're able to pass it on. So I think that's the biggest limitation that I see in business owners today. There's a repetitive problem that, few people overcome.
So what is a lesson in entrepreneurship that you've been taught that you wish you'd truly understood, like earlier in your career? So a lesson on entrepreneurship has taught you. Let me rephrase that.
I think that something that I wish I knew better long ago was staying steadfast to one objective till you see it through. Because I've always had in this systems mind and building, I like to build. So I've got distracted a lot of times in building, and then I'd get bored, and then I'd go build something else. And then I'd get bored with that, and I'd go build something else. They're all coming out half-baked. They weren't not baked. They were half-baked. They were good. But they could have been so much better. They could have been greater. I just lost interest. So I guess setting a frame of mind of steadfastness for that one thing until it's all the way through before jumping into something else. And that's what we've been able to do much better nowadays. So thankful for overcoming that, but a little bit late.
Yeah. So where can people learn more about Sozo Marketing or, be able to connect with you?
Absolutely. The two places, SozoMKG.com is Sozo Marketing and our conversion science architecture system, specializing mostly in service-based businesses anywhere in the country. And AI Orchestration Masterclass.com if you want to learn more about AI.
Awesome. And is there anything else that we did not discuss that you'd like our audience to know?
What are you going to be having next week in New Orleans for dinner? Are you going to go to Mr. B's?
I don't know. You gonna go? I'm probably gonna, get a couple. You're gonna hit me up with a couple of text messages after this to show me a couple of restaurants.
Have some beignets.
I'm gonna have some, dude. I'm telling you, I'm gonna tear some crawfish. Last time I ate crawfish, I broke out. I love crawfish. That's like the best place to eat crawfish.
Yeah, man. I'll send you some crawfish at the Fay. I'll send you a link for sure.
Well, hey, Renan. Hey, listen again. Brother, it was awesome to connect with you on here. and
Thank
really you gave some amazing nuggets, and that can bring a lot of value to a lot of people listening to this podcast. So you guys heard it. If you guys want to connect with Renan, go to www.sozomkg.com. Reach out to him. Check out his website. Go to his social medias at Renan de Barros. You probably can find him on Facebook. He's on all the socials, and he's been putting a lot of content out. And so link up with him, because I promise you, if you do, you will see results. Again, this is the Real Biz Solution Podcast. Thanks again, Renan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jason. I appreciate it.